WTJ AM 950 Traffic Center. This report brought to you by Performance Food Service Michigan. An accident on I-275 southbound at 7 Mile leaves only the right lane getting by. Traffic there backed up to 9 Mile. On I-94 westbound after Little Mac, an accident blocking the left lane and shoulder. And Harper at Metro Parkway has multiple lanes blocked due to a crash. Performance Food Service in Warren, Michigan is looking for Class A delivery drivers. Performance offers a 4-day work week, day one benefits, and a $15,000 sign-on bonus. Log on to jobs.performancefoodservice.com. Veterans, women, and minorities encouraged to apply. Performance Food Service is an equal opportunity employer. I'm Julia Deal with traffic.
Necessary Roughness with former NFL lineman TJ Lang and John Jensen. Download it today on the Odyssey app.
With an Odyssey Sports Minute, sponsored by 5 Hour Energy. It's the one when you gotta get stuff done. Last night's wacky Monday Nighter, won in overtime by Baltimore 31-25 over Indianapolis, was a classic. So much for game. So much for Carson Wentz's football obituary, and so much for Lamar Jackson being unable to win with his arm. Wentz was excellent in leading the Colts to a stunning 22-3 second half lead. The former Eagle completed 25 of 35 for 402 yards and 2 scores. However, Indy's injury-depleted defense crumbled as Jackson completed 37 of 42 for 442 yards and 3 touchdowns. He also carried 14 times for 62 yards, giving him 504 yards of total offense. The Ravens rebounded with 22 unanswered points in the final 21 and a half minutes to go to 4 and 1. Boomer Esiason.
What's your ultimate game day experience? A tricked out man cave? Deluxe tailgate? Then enter the 5 Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes for a chance to win $10,000. And make your ultimate game day experience a reality. To enter, buy any 5 Hour Energy product and upload the receipt. It's that easy. The 5 Hour Energy Football Sweepstakes. Enter today.
No purchase necessary. Must be 18 years old. Listen to the license December 10th, 2021. For official rules, how to enter without purchase. Visit 5hesport.com. Prohibited.
Turn left onto Spencer Road.
Dashboard light problems? We can help. Our free fix finder service can read your check engine light, ABS light, and service indicator light, and give you possible solutions verified by licensed technicians. You'll even get detailed results sent straight to your email so you have them when you need it most. It's the most complete free warning light report backed by technician verified fixes. The free fix finder service, only at AutoZone.
Turn right to merge onto I-96 East.
Sounds of a game.
There
Out of those 13, only 2 had winning records. Jim Caldwell, Gary Moore. Both fired with winning records. Anyway.
Yes, it's crazy.
Yes. Well, crazy was college football.
Oh my goodness! It was so much fun, and I'm not a huge fan, I've said this before, of night games. But I was fortunate to have the night game last Saturday because whether it was the Ole Miss Arkansas game, when I was walking into the stadium with Doug, and we were sitting there, we playing it on our phone, we can't go in the elevator because we want to see the last play. They go for 2 in the win. Don't get it.
Yep.
She was let down at the end of that game. I still would have done the same thing if I was Sam Pittman. But Alabama and Texas A&M, that game in and of itself made that day a special day. Not because Alabama lost, but because of the reaction. I love watching celebrations in college football. I know everybody's all up in arms. Oh, Iowa, they stormed the field and they were ranked higher. I don't really care. It is awesome to watch those stadiums erupt in celebration. Awesome. What is it? I was talking to Lucy, and this was my own Lucy. She's a sophomore in high school, and she was, watching the Texas. She's the Red River Shootout. Texas, Oklahoma.
Sorry, you can't say shootouts.
Yes. I can say whatever the heck I want.
I say it too.
Yes, because that's what it is. And, obviously Texas gets up and she's watching it and she wants to know about Xavier Worthy, and I'm telling her the story about Michigan, all this stuff, and we're having this back and forth conversation. And then all of a sudden, Oklahoma makes a change. Oklahoma starts to come back. She wanted Texas to win, and it's all this back and forth. And then when it was finally said and done, and Oklahoma comes away with the win, she said, "Dad, I'm disappointed because the team that I wanted to win didn't win, but that's the greatest college football game I've ever seen." Now, she's only 15 years old, so it's not a huge sample size. But I think we all remember those great college football games that either turned us into college football fans, or as we were college football fans, you watch a game and you're like, that was unbelievable. What for you was your greatest college football game that you've seen?
Well, there's one that I remember, and I just thought of it right now because I go back in the Wayback Machine, and I can't remember exactly what year it was.
46.
No.
The Army Notre Dame 0-0 tie.
It was in the same
First one.
Oh, man.
Rutgers.
It was USC against Notre Dame somewhere in the 70s. And Notre Dame was killing them. And I think Anthony Davis, USC running back, ran like 2 kickoffs back for touchdowns. That's one I always kind of remember as a kid.
Mm-hmm.
But to me, the greatest college football game I ever saw was the Rose Bowl for the national championship in 2006.
Yeah.
Right? The USC and Texas. I mean, it was just, back and forth. You had strange coaching decisions by Pete Carroll that made no sense to me at the time. I mean, he should have punted. Number one. Number two, instead of Lindell White, if you want to give him the ball, at least have Reggie Bush in the game so that at least they have to think about him. Vince Young was just unbelievable. That to me, and then there's others. I don't want to steal people's thunder around that era as well. By the way, an underrated game, unfortunately Michigan lost, was when they played Texas. That was a really good football game.
That was a solid.
Steve Breston was great in that game. That was a great game.
Yes.
One of my favorites is the Kick 6 game, the Auburn, Alabama, 2013. I thought the 2018 Rose Bowl with Georgia and Oklahoma was awesome. Remember Chubb and Michelle?
Yes.
Oh, yeah.
I got two oldies. They're both Miami Hurricane ones. The 87 Florida State-Miami game, there was probably 60 NFL players on the field. 26-25, Florida State went for 2 to win the game at the end, didn't get it.
Mm-hmm.
And then the next year, Catholics versus Convicts is still a great one.
Oh yes, that was a great. And the build up to it as well was and the payoff was great. And so, hey, what is your favorite college football game that you've seen? 248-539-9797. My great.
We'll find out coming up next.
Oh, okay.
97.1 The Ticket.
WXYT FM and WXYT HD1 Detroit. An Odyssey station. Sports headlines. All day, every day. From the Sold by YC Sports Desk. This is 97.1 The Ticket.
In the NFL, where Las Vegas Raiders head coach John Gruden resigns last night after a stream of emails over 7 years reveal racist, misogynist, and homophobic remarks. Monday Night Football, Ravens come from 19 down in the second half to beat the Colts in overtime 31-25. ALDS, Boston eliminates Tampa Bay 3-1 with a 6-5 win. National League, Giants 1, Dodgers nothing. Giants lead at 2-1. Atlanta 3, Milwaukee nothing. Brewers take a 2-1 series lead. Bengals favored by 3.5 over a Lions team Sunday that lost another starter. Wide receiver Quintez Cephas suffers a broken collarbone. Lions hopeful to get back Taylor Decker Sunday. When he does come back, he'll play left tackle. Ricky Penei-Sewell will return to right tackle. 34-year-old veteran winger Bobby Ryan released yesterday by the Ravens to make room for 2020 first-round pick Lucas Raymond. Wings open the season at home tomorrow night against the Lightning right here on The Ticket. Pistons losing in preseason basketball in Memphis 127-92. No Cade Cunningham once again. He's out with an ankle. At the Ticket Update Desk, I'm Jeff Lesson from our 97.1 The Ticket or Odyssey.com.
Live from the Jamie Samuelson Studio, Stoney and Jansen on 97.1 The Ticket.
Thank you, Jeff. John's daughter. The Red River Shootout was the greatest college football game she ever saw. What's yours? 248-539-9797. By the way, I checked it out. At USC Notre Dame, I was talking about was 1974. And I was right in saying it ended up, you look at the score and said, well, how could that be a great game? Notre Dame led USC 24-6 at halftime. USC scored 35 points in the third quarter, won the game 55-24. They outscored them 49-0 in the second half.
Yeah.
And being a Notre Dame hater,
Yeah, you loved it.
That, it was great.
Yeah.
I really liked USC. I liked USC. That's why I liked that fight song that some one of the listeners hated last night. So
I took a lot of heat for not liking the USC fight song.
I love it. All right, what's the great for you music?
I'll go back to 93 Rose Bowl. And that was Michigan-Washington, 38-31. They were down at half, but it was the performance by Tyrone Wheatley. The 15 carries, 235 yards, and it was one of those performances where he just went off. And to watch a man of that size and have the speed, be able to, and then obviously for Michigan to win the Rose Bowl, that's one of them. I just go back to that one every time, and I can see, like, if I close my eyes, I see some of those highlights going through, and obviously winning the Rose Bowl was a big deal. So that, to me, is one of the greatest that I've seen.
What was more impressive, by the way? His game in the Rose Bowl or Bianca Matuka against Ohio State?
Well, so that's why I didn't include that one, because I was on that offensive line.
Oh, okay.
And so my perspective was the 95 Ohio State game, obviously.
By the way, I don't know if people know that Bianca Matuka is Ron Dalton's brother.
Yes, sisters.
Will and Brighton, you're 97 on the ticket.
Hey guys, how you doing today?
Good, how are you?
Good. So, best game I've ever been to and seen in person was fall of 2005. It was the Michigan-Penn State game, and I was in the south end zone. It was in section 13. I was only about 10 rows up, and so they were, driving towards the south end zone at that time. And at that time, you can get into the student section with just taking a friend's ID. So we got in there, and we were right in, so you could even see Manningham score that touchdown, but you can just, by the sound of the crowd and screaming, and you just look behind you, just a sea of fans, and everyone's freaking out. That was definitely the best game I've ever been to. Best game I've ever seen was probably that 95 Michigan-Ohio State game, because at that time I was 7, and that's when the Michigan football, because the whole family is huge Michigan football fans. And so that was kind of like my introduction to Michigan football. And obviously, I got there because 97 you had the national title. So for me, those are the two games that stick out in my mind as the best I've been to and the best I've ever seen.
Will, was John Jansen your favorite number 77 at Michigan?
Absolutely. I head out my wall.
Thanks, Will. Go Blue.
You know what he told Jake Long the exact same thing, though. That's the problem. And Taylor Lewan. John and Macomb, you're 97 the ticket.
Hey, guys. How you doing? Good. Well, John, I think you will like this. I'm a little bit older than a few of you guys, but 1969, my first football game, 24-12, it's a big house.
Wow, you were there.
I was there in the prior to that, it was probably about 10 rows from the top. It was something, it was a special treat from high school, and basically it was a fantastic game.
What was
college football?
The celebration at the end? Did you were you on the field?
No, we were a little bit young for that. We were in our teens, couldn't get down there, but yes, the crowd went wild.
As it should have been.
Yes.
Thanks for the call. All right, we got a lot on text.
Before we go, can I just make a statement, please? Michigan State fans are welcome to call. This isn't Blue Wall Radio.
Yeah, their
Before we get
phone.
accused of those things.
No, their phone works just like.
Yeah, we got a few on the ticket text here. In fact, right away. Michigan State's defeat of number 1 Ohio State in 74 when Levi Jackson took a handoff 88 yards to the house late in the game to win it. Turned me into a Spartan fan for life.
What about the 98 game when they beat number 1 OSU, too?
Yeah, that was pretty impressive, too.
Mm-hmm.
Or actually, well, it wasn't a great game, exciting, but when Tyler O'Connor came in, when the quarterback got hurt, remember? James from Sterling Heights. Everyone's going to say USC, Texas. But I was also a huge fan of Texas versus Texas Tech with the Crabtree sideline catch to win the game.
That was a great overall game.
Yes. Anytime Alabama loses is a great day. Love watching Saban's face. Greatest game I've seen. I had this down here too. Boise State upsetting Oklahoma with the Statue of Liberty play. Best college game ever. And of course, what's his face? Ian Johnson goes to propose to his girlfriend, and Chris Myers ruined it.
Does that have to be mentioned like every single time, like along with the story?
Probably.
Yes, actually, I think it does. It does, actually. Oh, by the way, and then Ian Johnson accused Oklahoma of treating Boise State like their little brothers.
Oh. Ian Johnson here, though, was part of the Lions practice squad at one point. Huge one for me was 2006 Michigan State comeback against Northwestern, down 38-3 before the comeback.
Yeah.
Pretty impressive. College game I always remember was the beating Danny Woolful of Florida took from what I believe was a hard-hitting Florida State team. I couldn't believe he kept getting up. Big John from Royal Oak.
That was the 1-2 game in Tallahassee before they played in the Sugar Bowl. And Florida won.
Mine is the band is taking the field. Does that mean the Stanford Cal game?
Yes, guys.
Ohio State versus Penn State 2005. Penn State had a whiteout and upset the Buckeyes. That game made me a huge college football fan. Great atmosphere with Musburger on the call. God, I miss Brent.
Yeah.
Wonder what Brent thinks of John Gruden. He's the voice of the Raiders.
Oh, yeah.
Best college game ever, Michigan Notre Dame, the first game under the lights in 2011. Best final 2 minutes ever.
That was a great game.
It would have been great if I would have escaped. Danny Hebrew School. Had to get the girls home. Got to get the girl home. Got to get up for Hebrew School the next day. Didn't want to get home at 2 o'clock in the morning. Miami versus Boston College. Doug Flutie with the final throw for the Hail Mary. We had to keep going back and forth because it was the same time. This is on a lower scale. But my favorite game was 1994 Central Michigan Bowling Green MAC Championship. Brian Pruitt was going for 2,000 rushing yards, and it was a punter that ran about 80 yards for the go-ahead score. Chips win 36-33. Dave. Gotta say, I don't remember. I remember Brian Pruitt.
Yeah. Did we mention this one, or did anybody mention it? But I know we're trying to open the phone lines up to some Spartan fans, but the 2013 Big Ten Championship game.
The drive?
Yeah. I mean, was it Connor Cook as a quarterback? Ryan Shazier was the linebacker for Ohio State. Obviously beating Urban Meyer, but that game, I don't know that anybody really gave them much hope going into that game, and to see them beat Ohio State, obviously there's a lot of people in the state of Michigan that love to see that, but also to see them beat Urban Meyer at that time. It made me, that was one, I had a chance to work with Mark D'Antonio a few years before that, and I had a lot of respect for him, but that season, what he was able to do is they constantly improve throughout the year, but then putting the game plan together to beat Ohio State in the Big Ten championship game made me a big fan of Coach D'Antoni.
And I believe there's cultural relevance to it. I believe that is the Urban Meyer sitting on a golf cart eating pizza game. After the game. Yes, I believe it is.
Really? I kind of thought that was in a playoff game. It's the best of my recollection. You could be right. You're usually right on this.
You have to look that up. By the way, one that does not get mentioned, it's a recent one, it's a goodie. And I will preface this by saying that usually these Saturday night games, I can't stay up for these Saturday night games. I usually fall asleep at some point during the game and wake up late. One game that several years ago had my attention throughout the entirety of the game, and I'm just going to sum this up in 6 words. Lamar Jackson, Deshaun Watson, Death Valley. It was a back and forth game. Clemson got up big, then Louisville came roaring back up by 2 scores, and then Watson hits Leggett down the sidelines for the go-ahead score, and then Lamar Jackson has great, almost impossible to get him down. He had several escape maneuvers, getting away from the pass rush, and it comes down to a failed 4th down deep in Clemson territory. Just an absolutely epic game between 2 great quarterbacks in college and who have become great quarterbacks in the pros.
You know what was a great game? The national championship game where Alabama beat Georgia in the 2-1. That was a really good game.
Yes.
And including one of the ballsiest decisions a coach could ever make.
Yeah, pulling Jalen Hurts
Yeah.
into
Yeah.
Look at, Saban did that, putting in Tua. That takes tremendous, cojones, and then, what Lincoln Riley did this past weekend. It just makes you wonder if we localize this about Michigan.
Well, if they get into a situation where their quarterback is really playing bad and they're losing, to me, he would do it.
Yeah.
I don't think he's just going to do it when you're 6-0 start and change quarterbacks.
I mean, to do that in that situation to Spencer Rattler in the biggest game, it's just bad.
There's a few others. Michigan State, 1995, 28-25. Michigan State under the lights, snowing. Derek Mason, Mohamed Woodson was a freshman.
Which I like to say is probably one of the most underrated games in the history of the rivalry.
Yeah. Tony Banks.
Tony Banks.
That's my only loss.
Jay Carter.
Yeah.
Maybe the 2004 Michigan State game, Braylon Edwards going wild. I was also at the Penn State game in 2005. About 7 rows up from the end zone, they scored a winning touchdown. I put my girlfriend on my shoulder so she could see, then dropped her when the crowd reacted. I threw my arms up.
That's awesome.
Michigan State fake field goal against Notre Dame. The Giants, right? Central Michigan, 2009 comeback victory over LSU in East Lansing. Trouble with the snap, but look, the game wasn't that great.
No, but
the ending was
so it made the game.
Yeah, that's true. The thing about the topic was Oklahoma, Texas.
Going back and forth. And I did tell my daughter, I'm like, it'd be nice if they played defense.
Yes. And you know what? Goodness. That's a question. The 2011 Michigan State Wisconsin game, the last second throw from Cousins, Keith Michigan. I'm only 18. Michigan State
97117. Download the Caesar Sportsbook app. Your app is ready, Emperor.
This is for the men who never settle, the ones who miss the fairway all day and still pull out the big stick. The type of guys who will always prefer to be behind the grill than in front of the camera. And the men who never let their friends forget about a high school nickname. This is the Lodge mentality. This is Twin Peaks.
Who wants to settle for a single TV? With more TVs, bigger screens, plus our fabulous scenic views, there's more to watch at Twin Peaks.
This is a brand that takes.
Say the switch wrong side and you check your account, then you crack your phone and the screen goes out. No shame in your game, we got the assist. Huntington Bank, and on your money with a twist. To us, the extra cash with your strap, cause it's free. When you auto pay it back, introducing standby cash. Extra cash when you need it, free when you auto pay it back. Huntington, welcome. Without automatic payments, 12% APR. Eligibility requirements apply. Available to some customer eligibility. Learn more at huntington.com/standby cash.
Week 6 is here, and there is a big Thursday night matchup between the Bucks and the Eagles. FanDuel Sportsbook is about to make it even bigger because FanDuel is giving new customers 30-1 odds on either team to win. That means you can end the NFL week right by winning $150 on a $5 bet. Promotions like these are the reasons why FanDuel is America's #1 rated sportsbook app. Plus, it's easy to use, safe and secure, and the payouts are very fast. FanDuel is sports betting made simple, and they're always hooking you up with great offers like this one. Just sign up with the promo code DOUG this week before Tampa takes on Philly, and you can win $150 on a $5 bet. Remember to use promo code DOUG so they know we sent you exclusively on the FanDuel Sportsbook app. Must be 21 or older and present in Michigan. New users only. $10 first deposit required. Must wager in designated offer market. Maximum bonus $150. Restrictions apply. See full terms at sportsbook.fanduel.com. Gambling problems, call 1-800-270-7117 for confidential help. FanDuel Sportsbook, the official partner of 97.1 The Ticket.
Okay, my shipments have to get to customers on time and looking good.
It's possible with Staples Connect. Staples Connect has small business shipping covered with premium shipping supplies and UPS shipping services. And now, buy 2 get 1 free on select shipping supplies like bubble roll and premium shipping boxes. Plus, get 20% off UPS Express shipping services. Explore what's new at your local Staples store or staplesconnect.com. Staples Connect, the working and learning store. Ends 10/30. Visit staplesconnect.com/shipping for details.
Maureen think big shopping epic daily deals at Amazon. So now she's free to become Maureen the Merrier. And with her brand new tableware, everyone's welcome at Maureen's table. All of her family, friends, even her neighbor with the pet. Hey, has anyone seen a ferret around here? Found it. Dig into Amazon's epic daily deals. Spend less, smile more.
Pro football season's here, and pro roofers save valuable time with Beacon Pro Plus. Beacon Pro Plus works 24/7 for material ordering, order history, and automated promotion tracking, so you can get your favorite GAF roofing products even when working remotely. And now, order on Beacon Pro Plus and get a $175 gift card and a chance for a VIP pro football getaway. Gear up and raise your game with Beacon Pro Plus today. Build, score, and win at BECN.com.
Let your voice be heard. Call the D Las Vegas 97.1 The Ticket studio line at 248-539-9797. The D Las Vegas, your home for Detroit sports in Vegas.
97.1 The Ticket. Traffic.
From the WWJ AM 950 Traffic Center in Washtenaw County, a car hit a deer earlier on US 23 southbound of Michigan Ave. Right now, only the left lane is getting by with traffic backed up to I-94. We also have a crash on the I-75 northbound ramp to Schaefer. I'm Julia Deal with traffic.
A station where your opinion matters.
Before we get to Heather, John and Westland want to chime in on this college football game is yours.
Hey, how's everyone doing? Good morning, Tony. Good morning, John. You guys put a bad signal off the Sparks fan, so I figured I'd have to call on in real quick for you guys.
Thank you.
I went down to Ohio State to the Horseshoe a couple years ago. They went in with their backup quarterback, won the game. After the game, the detail had actually cleared for the NFL. I still remember the last play of the game. They were kicking the field goal. Urban Meyer tried to ice their kicker. We missed the first field goal. He went in and smoked the second one. And we were the only ones in our section cheering, and at one point we started to realize we should probably stop. But it was absolutely amazing.
It's a great feeling too, though.
To do it on the road.
Yes.
Too. I mean, it's great to celebrate with all your,
Oh yeah.
friends and at home.
Yeah. Like-minded individuals.
To do it on the road, though, especially there, I assume.
It's awesome. Have you not seen a game there? I'm gonna get you down to the horseshoe.
Maybe next year. Or maybe actually, who knows? Maybe Michigan State, Ohio State could major concert.
We could, yeah.
Yes, it should. By the way, TJ Line tweeted in 2007 episode. Yeah.
What a jerk.
But he's a huge Michigan fan, so how can he say?
He's just taking a shot at her.
Oh.
Is what he's doing.
I can see. You didn't play in that.
No. But I'm still
I know. All right. It's time for news. Here's how.
You guys, Baker Mayfield's wife, Emily, she jumped on social media to defend her husband from Browns fans who blamed him for Cleveland's loss to the Chargers. So after the Browns blew a pretty big lead to fall 47-42, Emily had some words for fans who were going after her husband. So she went on Instagram, and I'll read you what she wrote. She said, "For all of you fans who are blaming yesterday's loss solely on Baker, wake up. It was one hell of a game, and that game could have gone either way. He left it all on the field." And then she went on to say that you truly don't know what you have. I have watched him give his all and change the entire culture in Cleveland, yet he gets so little credit for it. He never asks for recognition and continues to carry the weight day in and day out despite the hate. If you are a true fan, support our guys, Baker and everyone else. The hate does nothing for them.
Kelly Mayfield.
That's basically what you said, Greg. It's like everybody has their opinion, but you're better off if you just stay out of your husband's workplace in that situation.
Yes.
It's better for him.
I think I agree with you, but I also know how it feels to read comments that are negative and negative and negative, and sometimes you just want to jump on there and say your own. I know. That's easy to say. But sometimes it's hard, John. Like, they're right there. Getting tagged in them. I know, but whatever. That's what she did. Monday was National Coming Out Day. You guys might not have known that. And to celebrate, DC Comics announced that its new Superman, John Kent, is coming out as bisexual.
Okay.
Yes, so the comic book will feature John. This is the son of Clark Kent and Lois Lane. And he is going to be getting into a relationship with a male reporter. So the writer, Tom Taylor, said that everyone needs heroes and everyone deserves to see themselves in their heroes. And I am very thankful that DC and Warner Brothers shared the same idea. He added that today more people can see themselves in the most powerful superhero in comics. So this new comic book will hit shelves on November 9th.
So let me ask you this. Is the regular
Clark Kent?
Yeah, is he still around or he died? I don't know.
I am the last person you should ask about comics. I don't know because I don't follow any of this. I didn't even know Clark Kent and Lois Lane were an item. I was like, that's how much I know. I don't know anything. If you like booze and zombies and giving back, you won't want to miss the annual Wyandotte Zombie Bar Crawl. So for the 7th year, this pub crawl is returning this month to not only celebrate Halloween, but they're also going to be raising funds for the Yes Ma'am program at Henry Ford Hospital in Wyandotte. And this program provides biannual breast screening and free mammograms for uninsured women in the area. So it's a great way to give back. The pub crawl kicks off at 4 p.m. on Saturday, October 16th at the Downriver Council for the Arts. And then there's going to be a zombus. A zombie bus that will transport all the crawlers around downtown Wyandotte for this pub crawl. There's going to be a lot of giveaways. There's even a scavenger hunt that you can take part in on the crawl, and there will be a $300 cash prize for that. There's an after party with costume contests, raffles, prizes, and all sorts of things. Tickets are $25 each, and over the last 6 years, the event has been able to give back more than $62,000 to this Yes Man program. So a lot of money for a really good cause, and it sounds like a really fun time as well.
If you like zombies.
if you like zombies, but I mean, it can be any costume. Just Halloween in general, and you like drinking with some buddies. I mean, that sounds fun. You guys, Tiger Woods is off crutches, and he was spotted on a golf course walking without a limp. Doing pretty well, apparently about 8 months after his big crash. So he was actually out in Port St. Lucie, Florida. He was watching his son, Charlie, play in a junior tournament on Sunday. And apparently he was walking around without much issue at all. And a witness says he looked like he was in great spirits. He was interacting with fans, having a good time. As far as when we'll see him back, on tour, that's yet to be seen. But sources say that he does have a timeline in his head. He has set a goal for himself, and he's not laying that timeline out. We don't know exactly what he's thinking, but he's got a goal, and he is going to be back, even if he's not 100%. He says he still wants to get back out there. So,
well, we're about 6 months from the Masters.
Could be a good goal.
Yeah, well, usually we play a tournament first. I don't know. We'll see.
I'd like to see him out there.
How old is Charlie?
I don't know how old he is. I don't know.
Well, I want to know how Tiger.
That's a random guess.
Tiger's demeanor is going to be. How old will Tiger be when Charlie beats him?
Oh.
65 maybe?
I don't know. Listen to this. 2 Eagles fans were busted by cops, Stoney, after allegedly doing something very naughty in the bathroom stall at Bank of America Stadium.
Eagle fans on the road in Charlotte getting it on.
Exactly. So this was during the Eagles wins, like you said.
In a stadium bathroom?
Yeah, the couple was caught on camera inside the same stall in a men's bathroom when police busted the pair in front of a crowd, and all the fans were kind of hooping and hollering. The cops knocked on the door. They asked the 2 to come out. Fans kind of were like, hey, let them finish. Yes, that's what they were cheering. Let them finish. And they eventually opened the door. Both of them walked out fully clothed, so there's no actual proof of what exactly was going on behind that door, but there's a lot of speculation. The man was put in handcuffs, but according to reports, neither one of them were actually arrested, and they did violate the policy of the stadium where women are not allowed in the men's restroom.
Is there any truth that the woman had a Jalen Hurts jersey and the man had a Fletcher Cox jersey?
Oh my goodness. I don't even know how to react sometimes besides moving on. What do I do? Just listen to John's laugh?
Just watch him laugh.
Oh my goodness.
You can stop laughing anytime you want, John.
So we know 911 is for emergencies, but it's definitely not for bathroom emergencies. There's this guy in Canada who recently called 911 because he was sitting in traffic and he really needed to pee. He really had to go. So he asked for an ambulance first, and then he said he needed a cop because the cars in front of him weren't moving and he really needed to go. And the 911 operator, you guys, obviously just wasn't having it. He basically told the guy to stop being so stupid. And the whole call lasted 38 seconds, and police have released the sound because they want to remind people, only call 911 for actual emergencies.
911, chief police, fire, ambulance. Do you have the police? Where's the emergency?
Actually, the thing is that I have to pee and these guys are not moving.
You have to pee?
Yeah.
This is your emergency. You have to pee?
Yeah.
Or police can help you urinate.
I have to pee, man.
What's your like to do that you have to urinate? I can't help you with that.
How exactly would the police help you urinate? I mean, this guy could have probably just pulled over.
Yeah, but then...
He jumped out of the car and, I don't know, a tree,
agree
maybe?
with that. Yes, I agree. But then you could, I don't know, maybe you get indecent exposure or...
But his emergency would have been solved. His emergency would have been solved, that's for sure.
They wanted a free pass.
Finally, you might have seen this trending. There's this guy in Bosnia who's actually going viral after he built his wife a rotating house. Have you seen any images of this? It's pretty insane. So this guy is 72 years old. He says he was sick and tired of hearing his wife complaining about the views from their house. So he built her a brand new one that actually rotates 360 degrees. He designed it all himself. He built this contraption and it rotates the entire house all at once. So basically the house kind of sits about 2 feet off the ground. And he says his wife can sit in one spot now and then rotate the house if she gets bored with what she's looking at, or let's say she just wants some more sun. Or he could have built a house, just a full window house.
Yeah.
Maybe without having to.
She'd have to get up and move seats.
That's too much work. And he says there's also an option to make the house spin slow or to spin fast. So it can do a full turn every 24 hours. Or, I guess if she really wants a thrill, she can make the house do one full rotation every 22 seconds.
Whoa! Whoa! That would be awesome.
Oh my gosh. She need a puke bucket right next
yes.
to her.
Man, nail down those pictures.
It took him 6 years to create the concept and actually follow through and build.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, Heather, thank you very much. Coming up next, Heather had something happen to her and her husband that, well, we'll let her explain coming up next.
You guys, October is like one of my favorite months, and it's also one of the best sports months of the year, and my friends at Bet Rivers Sportsbook are here to make it even better. Now, whether you're betting on football, baseball playoffs, hockey, or hoops, Bet Rivers offers you great odds, profit boosts, and daily promotions. And you can also bet same-game parlays on Bet Rivers. You just pick the game and the legs, then you sit back and enjoy the action. Plus, if you're new to Bet Rivers, October is a great month to create an account. Use the code 250MATCH at sign up, and Bet Rivers will match your first deposit up to $250. With so much going on in the world of sports, you don't want to miss out. So place your bets with an award-winning platform that puts fans first. Download the app or go check out BetRivers.com and start betting with a winner. Bet Rivers Sportsbook, Detroit's hometown sportsbook. Visit BetRivers.com for full terms and conditions. Must be 21, playable in Michigan. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-270-7117.
It takes 2 vaccines to help protect you this season, the flu and COVID-19. And now you can get both shots at the same visit. Learn more at cdc.gov/vaccines.
It's October 2021. I'm David Hall from Hall Financial. Mortgage interest rates the lowest they've been all year. It's your second chance to refinance. Call Hall Financial today to see if you qualify for our no appraisal 8-day close. Our commitment to speed and client service has earned us nearly 4,000 5-star reviews. Start your refinance today. 866-CALL-HALL or chat with us at callhallfirst.com.
Hall Financial, NMLS ID 1467435. Equal housing lender.
Fast Wi-Fi. You use it to connect just about everything, which means having fast Wi-Fi matters a lot. That's why Xfinity offers gig speed Wi-Fi, the fastest Wi-Fi you can get. That's a big deal. It's a big deal for streaming big games, having big meetings, and making big plans. It's a big deal for families with 1 kid, or 2 kids, or 3 kids, especially if there's 1 kid who has enough devices for 10 kids. It's a big deal for gamers who are streaming while someone else is posting about their virtual spin class. And yet, it's also a big deal for a quiet Friday night in, because fast Wi-Fi makes everything better. Now through October 31st, ask how to get a special offer of $300 back when you get gig speed internet, or get started with up to 50 megabits per second download speed for $20 a month for 12 months with a 1-year agreement. Click, call, or visit an Xfinity store today. Gig Wi-Fi requires gig internet and compatible gateway. Actual speeds vary and are not guaranteed. Offer requires paperless billing and auto pay. Ends 10/31/21. New performance starter internet customers only. Equipment taxes and fees extra and subject to change. After term, regular rates apply.
It's Superstart Battery Month at O'Reilly Auto Parts. That means you can get up to a $25 gift card after mail-in rebate with the purchase of your Superstart battery. Return power, performance, and reliability to your car, truck, motorcycle, and more with Superstart batteries. Only at O'Reilly Auto Parts.
So a friend told me about Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, and his exact words were, "It changed my life. I used to spend a ridiculous amount of time trying to remove tomato sauce from inside our microwave and soap scum off the bathtub. It's like seriously magic, and my secret weapon for cleaning the kitchen, bathroom, doors and walls, and even keeping my sneakers clean. Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, greatest invention ever."
Mr. Clean Magic Eraser, the unicorn of cleaning.
This hour of
Jackson, 442 yards, 4 touchdowns. He looked great last night, obviously.
Yeah.
That game went in overtime. The Colts led 25-6 in the fourth quarter. Missed a couple of field goals. They got a little conservative at one point. The Ravens, they hang around, man. They got another injury. Sammy Watkins got hurt. They got the Chargers coming into town this week. They've been some really good primetime games this year.
Yes.
Football, let me tell you something. Like, the defenses have not been great all around, but the excitement level for pro and we talked about college football has really been high level excitement.
And it seems somewhat because there's some new names and faces. And obviously in college football, we're not talking about Clemson at all.
Right.
Alabama lost. You get a new number 1 in Georgia. I was at number 2, the highest Kirk Ferentz has ever been ranked. I mean, there's a lot of intrigue because of the fact that it's new. And you mentioned in the NFL, the Kansas City Chiefs, right? They are last in their division right now, and most people had them, or a lot of people had them picked to go to the Super Bowl. Right. And they may still, but you've got the Chargers and you've got Justin Herbert. You've just got some new teams that are making kicking up some dust, you might say.
Lots of fun. All right, Heather, you had a little incident with a product that your husband purchased, correct?
Yeah, it was a pretty big purchase. Not anything too little, but nothing crazy. But he purchased a drone, and it's something that he's always wanted to get. And we were up north, so he was super excited to try to get some shots of, all the fall colors, some of the water. And at first, we were really cautious about how we used it because we'd never flown one before at all. So we were just kind of taking it slowly, flying it over the backyard just to learn how it works. And it's actually really difficult to fly it smoothly, for me anyway. It's because it's kind of like playing a video game.
Take lessons from Doug. Doug is like an expert.
Is he?
Oh, I didn't even know he had a drone. He flies the drone?
I thought so.
Well, I'll have to get some tips from him, especially after.
I know he's the family video guy.
Right, but he's taking pictures. I've seen some videos from up above. I figured it was.
Okay.
It must be a drone. They're super cool, but they're not super cheap. Even the cheap ones are not super cheap. Well, anyway, halfway through our trip, his attitude. I stopped playing with it because I'm like, you know what, this is over my head. I don't need to do this. So he started to get a little bit more confident with his, flying capabilities, and we went and hiked to some waterfalls. We were getting some really cool overhead shots, it was sweet. And then, unfortunately, something devastating happened. He was at one of the last waterfalls. I actually stayed in the car because I wasn't feeling that great. I didn't want to do a ton of hiking. And he came back, and he looked at me, he's like, it's gone. I was like, what are you talking about? He's like, yeah, I crashed it. And I was like, stop. You're joking. This is not real. He's like, no, I literally, it's gone. Lanes. And I'm like, oh my gosh, did you crash it in the water? Where did it crash? And he said, well, I didn't crash it in the water, but it crashed on the other side of this waterfall across a river. And I can see it. I know exactly where it is. And I said, okay, well, I mean, it's a loss, right? And he's like, well, I didn't back any of the footage up that we'd been recording all week, right? He's like, so I'm like, oh man, because we got some really cool stuff. And he's like, I got to go back and get this. And I thought, well, is it worth it? Because I actually don't know how much this drone costs. I know he didn't get like a top of the line one, but it still had to be at least
a couple $100.
Oh yeah, at least. So
plus the invaluable footage.
And to me, that was more important than the actual drone. So he's like, we got to go back and get it. I'm like, well, I'm not going back. I couldn't even hike to the waterfall. So the next morning, he woke up super early, and he made the hike. But you had to be there because it was a terrifying moment, because I'm stuck in the middle of nowhere. I have no car, there's no cell service, and he leaves at 7 and I don't hear from him. And it's 2:00, and I'm thinking, oh my gosh, he's fallen in the river. He is now dead, or he broke his ankle. He's stuck somewhere in the wilderness where I'm never going to find him. How do I get to him? He did retrieve the drone. I don't know if it works yet. We haven't tried, but it was just something devastating. When you buy something brand new, you're so excited to use it, pretty expensive, and then it breaks. Have you guys ever experienced something like that where it's heartbreaking?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Because I have one. My very first purchase when I was, not my first purchase, but a big purchase for me in high school. When cell phones were first coming out, and the colored screen cell phones, They were still flip phones, but I went, and this phone was probably, I don't know, $400 at the time. And I saved up my money. I bought this phone myself, and I got out of my car, and I dropped it right on the cement, and I gouged it. I was so devastated that it still worked, but it was all dinged up. It was like the very first day you bought it, and I'm like, you gotta be kidding me.
Oh.
The first purchase, and I ruined it.
I had one. I was, still am, salmon fishing up in Little Traverse Bay. And to do it best and be most accurate, you've got to know where the water temperature changes temperature, because the surface temperature is, it could be 65 degrees in Lake Michigan, but you've got to get to where the salmon are, and it's best to know exactly where the temperature is. So on your downrigger, you can put this thing called a fish hawk, and it cost a couple of $100. I had ordered one. I was waiting for it to come in. I was excited. It's the first time I was going to use it. There's a screen I have right at my console. It's, I'm ready to go. I've tested it out, obviously on dry land. My buddy and I are going out fishing, and he was the one that had sold me on getting this fish hawk. And so it tells you temperature, it tells you how fast the lure is going, because it may be different than the surface speed that you're going on the boat. And he goes to put it in. I'm driving, I'm rigging up a couple other rods, and he starts to put the downrigger down, and there must have been a kink in the downrigger line, because as soon as he put it in, all I heard was tink. And the line snapped, downrigger ball, fish hawk, everything. Boom, bottom of Lake Michigan. It's about 120 feet down. And obviously there's no hiking to get that.
No, that's a goner.
It's just gone.
It's a devastating feeling.
It is. And my buddy, I heard the noise, and I didn't think anything of it at the time, and we're going along, and there's nothing registering, because we had gone past where it was sending a signal. And I look back, and he's just kind of sitting there with his head in his hands, shaking his head a little bit. I'm like, what's going on? He goes,